Hello friends, Sero here on a journey of becoming myself, Sero to Sero. Hope you're enjoying Sunday. I know it's one of possibly the last Sunday before the school starts, or one of the last summer Sundays before your school, yourself, or your kids' school starts. So may you enjoy the process of winding down the summer break mode and starting the fall new season, new adventure that is ahead of us. May we enjoy the process in the journey of embracing the new season. And in speaking of new season and embracing new season, at times for me personally, I find it hard for me at times to adjust, because I do prefer to not experience too much change. So when it comes to having things planned and going its way, I would like to be flexible within the playground that is defined. So meaning, if it's just an open field for me to play, it's much harder for me than if there is a playground as well as there's a limit, and I will test those limits to the fullness, and be more flexible. And in ways, that's how God made me, as well as that's also in the same place where God test me, challenge me to come out of my box, my playground, and explore the wilderness or the sandbox that may be outside of the playground that is neatly put together at times. And with that, what that means is God has me embrace interruptions, has me learn to be unhurried at times. So recently I was flying back from DC, traveling responsibly and safely as I can. So I had this opportunity to change my flight from full flight to non-full flight, full occupancy flight. And on that flight, I knew the change I made, as you know, that included what time I was gonna go to the airport, who was gonna take me to the airport and be picked up, etc. The timing and the headspace that might be in one airport versus another. I'm being frank, like the layover, how long the layover is. I just I was like, okay, well, I'm not in a hurry, so why do I need to stick to the plan, even though it was within the 24 hours of my flight that was changing. And the second flight after the layover back home, the conversation that I ended up having with the gentleman that was sitting next to me, within 2 minutes of that conversation, I knew instinctively that this is why the Lord had me be on this flight, for this conversation. And that conversation itself probably only lasted maybe 10-15 minutes, where I was simply reminded to not disqualify myself from things that God has not disqualified myself. And that's something that I am learning in this season, and knowing that I am worthy being invested in and worthy of being invited to the table. And on like that conversation on that flight with a stranger, and we remain strangers even still today, you know, after a couple months of me just pondering what this conversation meant, that the Lord reminded me how the beauty of the interruption, if we allow it to be divine appointment. Meaning we have to be willing to be interrupted, willing to not necessarily be so stuck up about our plans. Like Jesus himself, on the way for Jesus and the disciples to go visit a family that needed a daughter to be healed, and he stopped all of a sudden, and then because he knew he healed this woman physically, but he also needed to intentionally allow this woman that was healed by touching his cloak to be seen and to be loved, even how short that time might have been. And I wonder how I would have been if I was traveling with him and be like, Lord, we have things to be. You see, I have this checklist, from this time to this time we're supposed to be walking. From this time to this time we're supposed to be eating dinner. And if I don't allow Jesus to be interrupted, we may not necessarily fully experience the divine healing that is, while the person might have been, but as well as not only the ways Jesus saw this woman that has healed her holistically, it also allowed the opportunity for us, generation and generations after, for us to be willing to approach the throne, knowing that he is someone that can be interrupted, that is never in a hurry, that is intentional with whoever for however long that we are, which obviously is eternity, but you understand what I'm saying, I hope. And with that, also another challenge that comes for me is my brother is someone that in ways coined and used this term interruptible. He wants to be interruptible. I don't quite know if that's actually words you can find in a dictionary, but in ways that he wants to pursue being someone like Jesus that can be interrupted without having the other person feel like he or she is interrupting him. So what does that look like for us? So the challenge for me is embracing to not be in a hurry, but be intentional, be flexible, learn to be flexible, even in the intention of the structure and the playground that I love holding the structures of. As well as, I wonder what that may mean for you as you consider in this season of even back to school planning and getting ready for school for yourself, and allowing your schedule to be interrupted by finding a new rhythm. May our new rhythm be in line with the heart posture of being willing to be interrupted and be interruptible, where we are able to see the joy, the beauty, the healing that comes from divine interruption, i.e. divine appointments that the Lord has. Lord often invites us to open up the gift of on our journey. So thank you for being part of my journey of becoming. 고맙습니다.